Hello, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. Hope everyone's doing okay. Recently, I did a video showing some of my favourite and essential, what I consider essential compilation albums. And there were another two records that kind of cropped up that I've got. And quite frankly, it's kind of a video I've been meaning to do for some time. So I didn't show them on that last video. I think they deserve their own video. The bands we're talking about are The Action and The Creation. So let's talk about each of them. I basically think they deserve more attention than they've got. So this is why I'm doing this. It's just a short kind of appraisal. So first of all, we have got The Action. So they were around in the mid to late 60s. Their music I would describe as blue-eyed soul, something along that. They have a very, very sort of modish sound to them. They would certainly appeal to the mods of the time and maybe the mods of today as well. I would certainly say if you see those kind of compilation albums that you get out that, you know, mod classics, The Action will definitely be on there. Yeah, it's essential stuff. This is such an excellent band. This really is. The album I've got here is called The Complete. Sorry, it's not The Complete. It's called The Ultimate Action. It was released in the 80s by Edsel, although this is a slightly later pressing with a different cover. This band are just so good. They were produced by George Martin, so they have a great sound. You know, their material from the 60s, it sounds absolutely top notch. And as a compilation album, every track on here is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Yet they never really broke it into the big time. They didn't have top 10 singles. I'm uncertain if many of their singles even charted at all. If you spoke to a more casual music fan of the 60s, there is a chance they might not have even heard of this band. Yet, I just think they are absolutely essential. They never released a proper album. It never actually happened. I don't know whether that could be the reason behind why they never made it. They did regroup in the late 60s. Members formed a band called Mighty Baby, who did release 2 albums, and they're absolutely great. They sound nothing like The Action, and that's a different story altogether. But what can I say? This is absolutely wonderful stuff. If you're a fan of 60s music, the mod sound, soul, or just great quality power pop, this is a band you need to hear. Not even necessarily this album. From what I gather, they have had numerous compilations over the years, and it's going to be the same material, reordered, rehashed over and over again. But this particular compilation is very, very good and pretty easy to find. It's not expensive or anything like that. It's absolutely great. Equally, The Creation, another compilation album. This one is called How Does It Feel to Feel? It's named after one of their most famous tracks in the first track on this record. Again, it is released on Edsel Records. They seem to be the main reissue label of the 80s. They put out some good stuff back in the day. Even as early as the 80s, these bands were recognised as premium quality stuff. This is things, stuff that people wanted to hear. I would say this band probably a little bit, certainly around the same time, and they are a little bit more of a nod to psychedelia. Their earlier singles certainly have more of a modish sound, but as they go along, they certainly embrace the more psychedelic sound of the mid to late 60s. The producer on this is Shel Talmy. He produced some of the early Who singles, and to be honest with you, some of their earlier tracks could be mistaken for early Who tracks. They actually sound very, very similar, and that is not a bad thing. Once again, several singles released. None of them really did very well, and who knows why, because they're absolutely brilliant. To me, they are up there with the greats. And this compilation album is easy to find and is essential. They did release an album. Now, for whatever reason, the album they put out, I think, was only released in Germany, and I think it's called We Are the Painter Men. I will look it up and I'll put a picture of it on the screen. Quite why it was never released here, I don't know. To be fair, the answer's probably online, but I just haven't done my homework, have I? But it can't have done them any favours, a bit like The Action. And yeah, overlooked. And I just think, you sort of hear things played on the radio from the 60s. You're not going to hear this band, unfortunately, no matter how good quality they actually are. This is a brilliant, brilliant compilation, easy to find. And once again, if you can't get this, there are other compilations out there. They've been recompiled, reissued. They are that good. Incidentally, Creation Records, I'm sure most of you know, were named after this band. So founder Alan McGee obviously held them in high regard also. There's not really much more I can say on these two, except I just ponder why these bands were not successful. There must be, there is obviously a reason and a story behind it. But to me, it is just unjustified, because if you've never heard them before and you hear them and you get these albums or stream a few tracks, whatever, it's undeniable that these two bands were as good as the greats of the time. They are up there with the Who. They are up there with the Kinks. They are up there with the Small Faces. But despite their kind of cult following, they just haven't got that widespread appeal. And that really is a shame. I know the Creation may have had a little interest recently. One of their tracks, which is called Making Time, was actually a theme tune and still is. Anyone who's watched the Great Pottery Throwdown here in the UK, they use that as the actual theme tune. And indeed, when my wife first heard it, she thought it was the Who, and it does sound like a bit like the Who, but I was like, nah, it's not. No, it's the Creation. But I don't know. I was pondering over these two bands, and I just felt it needed a video. I needed to kind of, spread the word, spread the love. So if you haven't heard them, do yourself a favour, try and get hold of these compilation albums. They are absolutely great, easy to find, and essential for your collection. And in a way, I have to say, they are kind of the only albums you may need from each of them. They just compile pretty much everything they've done. There are sort of BBC sessions out there, and this band did release an album, but a lot of the tracks off this album are on that album. So this is the thing to get. So anyway, comments are most welcome on what you think of this. Do you like these bands? Do you actually think they're more, well known than I'm sort of giving them credit for here? I don't know. I just thought I'd sort of talk about them. So anyway, that's all from me. More content to come, so stay tuned. Please give me a like and subscribe if you like what you see. And until the next time, take care. Thank you very much for watching.